There's many different ways that you can cover a story. One way to do it is, one, saying Israel-Gaza war. It's not a war, it's an ethnic cleansing campaign. However, this is simply better than the previous formation of this kind of thing, which would say Israel-Hamas war, which definitely is not the truth, right? More than 100 people reported killed. Once again, reported killed. So at least they're not saying more than 100 people found dead. They're saying reported killed in crowd near Gaza aid convoy. So they do mention the Gaza aid convoy. That's an improvement as well. But they're saying it's in a crowd near the Gaza aid convoy, not mentioning that it's actually the crowd trying to receive aid, desperate for humanitarian aid in an ongoing ethnic cleansing campaign. And then, of course, the last one is my favorite, the chef's kiss. Hamas-run health ministry says that is, of course, to cast doubt on the numbers, even though every single person that works in the intelligence community, in the respective state departments of each individual state, every single person that works in the Israeli side, every single person that works at an NGO, and every single person that works at the BBC that has been covering this for years, if they know anything about anything, knows without a doubt Hamas-run health ministry numbers have always been the gold standard of figuring out the death toll. The highest likelihood is that those numbers currently are actually at undercount, because there's like around 10,000 people that we know of that are most likely still under the rubble. So just saying, this is the greatest version that you are going to get from Western media, because then you have other ones where it says at least 100 killed and 700 injured in chaotic incident where IDF opened fire as people waited for food in Gaza. So strange. It is hard to confirm information in Gaza. I wonder why that is. Yes, that's a great question. It is because there's an ethnic cleansing campaign going on. Okay, an ethnic cleansing campaign that targets women, civilian men, the elderly. That is why it's very difficult. Not shocking that they shot at a crowd of people that are trying to desperately get food. Here's what Itamar Ben-Gvir had to say about this. Total support must be given to our heroic fighters operating in Gaza who acted excellently against the Gazan mob that tried to harm them. Today it was proven that the transfer of humanitarian aid to Gaza is not only madness while our abductees are being held in the Strip under substandard conditions, but also endangers the IDF soldiers. This is another clear reason why we must stop transferring this aid, which is in fact to harm the IDF soldiers and oxygen to Hamas. The best backup that can be given our fighters is to throw you out of power with a missile. This is another good one. Many were killed and injured after Israeli forces opened fire near an aid convoy. Starkly different accounts of what happened were offered. You are a news publication. It's like journalism 101. Your job is not to go, some people are saying it's raining outside. Other people are saying it's sunny outside. Open the window, crack it open, and put your hand out to see if it's raining or if it's sunny. What do you mean? This is not news. You are not reporting on the news. Breaking news. Things are happening. We don't know what. Who could tell? I don't know. Probably Israel's in the right. Okay, I feel very informed by this. This is the Gray Lady. This is the paper of record, dog. What the hell is going on? Many were killed and injured after Israeli forces opened fire near an aid convoy. Starkly different accounts. Some things happen to some people. We don't know anything. This is giving up, dude. This is literally like, bro, this is me during COVID when I just stopped working out. I just gave up. Okay. I was like, I'm not moving. I'm not moving at all. You've directly said now, as the most important institution in the field of journalism in the United States of America, you said, I'm giving up. What the I see your New York Times push notification and I raise you this. Jason Hickel. Biden says Gaza food aid related deaths complicate ceasefire talks. Food aid related deaths? What does this mean? What is he talking about? Food aid related deaths? Like, did they get poisoned? Did the food aid collapse on top of the people? Let's hear another one. Heated exchange. State Department spokesperson Matt Miller unable to condemn Israel's killing, blames Hamas. Why is it so difficult for this government to say we condemn the killing of Palestinian women and children? Why don't you say the word condemn? We don't want to see anyone die. Hamas launched this war in the first place. Oh my God! Yet I haven't heard a word condemn. This war began way before October 7th.
You don't have any doubt that only one side did the shooting and the killing and the shelling and so on of these people, correct?
Said, I have seen reports.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You have not seen any reports. You have, and you're lying. You have seen the report. You're just lie. Your job is to lie. Oh, I saw that actually, guys, that it was actually the Palestinian people themselves that were killing themselves. They found guns and they started shooting themselves.
Seen different reports with respect to that very question.
Right.
We don't know, as I said earlier, the ground truth of what happened, which is why we think it's appropriate that investigation be conducted.
Bro, they say this every time. They say this every time, and then they just block and push and wait until Israel does another unimaginably cruel thing, and then they push it down the line again. It's unimaginable. More than 110 Palestinians are reported to have been killed while trying to get desperately needed aid in North Gaza. Crowds of waiting civilians descended on a convoy of lorries after it passed through an Israeli military checkpoint on the coastal road west of Gaza City. Israelis military said troops fired at some of those people they thought were a threat. In the ensuing chaos, the lorries attempted to move forward. A Palestinian witness told the BBC that most of those who died were run over. At least 112 people were killed and 760 others injured in the incident, the spokes of Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry, Ashraf al-Qudra, said in a statement on Thursday afternoon. Dramatic aerial footage released by the Israeli military showed thousands of people on and around the lorries, while graphic videos of the aftermath posted on social media showed some of the dead loaded onto emptied aid lorries and a donkey cart. Why are they so desperate for aid? Why has the aid actually trickled in such slow numbers? I know people that are fucking out there right now. I see them talking about it in Jordan specifically, talking about how impossible it is and how much aid is being currently held up in points of entry. It's not like the entire world isn't trying to desperately bring help into Gaza. They certainly are. Kids are eating animal feed and grass, especially in northern Gaza. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry blamed Israel for what it called a massacre, while U.S. President Joe Biden expressed concern that it would complicate efforts by the U.S. and other mediators to broker a temporary ceasefire in the war between Hamas and Israel. I'll tell you this much, and I mean this with all sincerity. I think the amount of Hamas-run health ministry has actually unironically caused more people in the Western world to be like, yeah, okay, I'm with those guys. Like originally when it started, there was obviously the bad guys in the eyes of the Western world and the way that they received it were Hamas. They went in and unspeakable things, and a lot of people were geared up with the atrocity propaganda on top of the real atrocities that had occurred. So they were like, oh my God, of course I condemn Hamas. This is devastating. This is devastating. But after 5 months, constantly positioning Hamas against the IDF has unironically normalized Hamas as a legitimate entity. Guess what? For the past 5 months, Hamas has been defending the Palestinian population against the Israeli military's brutal genocidal bombing campaign. So of course people are going to see that. And with the media constantly being like, Hamas run health ministry, Hamas said this, Hamas said that. Of course people are going to inevitably be like, all right, you know what? Because it is. I will stand on this business. Hamas, between Hamas and Israel, Hamas is the lesser evil of the two, both in the amount of civilians that they deliberately targeted in comparison to the amount of actual soldiers that they killed. The numbers are undeniable. That is before we talk about like the destruction of civil society. You consistently have such a high view of the normie brain. The more you learn every day actually separates you more and more from the average person. Normal human beings, if given all of the facts, will most likely go along with their morality and will inevitably be able to overcome their previous social conditioning. People will get real mad at you for that take. For what take? Is the lesser evil between Hamas and IDF? I am ready to stand on that take all day, every day. I've been saying that because it's true. It's literally true. People are actually insane for acting like that is not the case. It is objectively the case. They have killed, one, by totality, significantly fewer civilians, and per capita, they've killed significantly fewer civilians in comparison to enemy combatants. It's not even a question. It's not even a question. And that is before we talk about like the obvious like death and destruction of like normal civil life, shutting off food, shutting off aid, shutting off electricity. Hamas does not have the capacity to do these things to Israel in the same way that Israel does, because Israel is the occupier. Israel is, and this is not just like me being woke and doing like entry-level theory. I love bros defending rapists. I never defended Israel. I never defended Israel. That's really up that you said that. This is how laughable the pro-Israel propaganda is. Where they're like, keep trying to revamp the atrocity porn over and over again. I have never been more vindicated on any issue more than my consistent takes on Israel and Palestine. And the only reason for why is because like I've seen it, I've covered it for 10 years. That's it. The incident happened hours before the health ministry announced that more than 30,000 people, including 21,000 women and children, had been confirmed killed in Gaza since the start of the conflict. 21,000 women and children have been killed. 30,000 total have been killed. There is no world in which you can engage in lesser evil and act like Israel is actually the good guys here. Israel were the bad guys on October 6. Israel were the bad guys on October 8. Israel has been the bad guy for 75 years. If you want like the Marvel Cinematic Universe style good bad dynamics here, this is one of the very few instances where you can actually do that because the morality is clear. It's like Ukraine and Russia. Russia, bad guys for invading Ukraine. That's it. Bad guys for being an apartheid state. You can desperately cling on to the preconceived notions that people may have about Hamas and they're scary and they're Muslim and they're terrorists and, you know, all of this other stuff that happened. Oh my God. But it doesn't matter. Some 7,000 others have been reported as missing. 70,450 have been treated for injuries over the past 4 months, according to the ministry. This is deeply shocking because if you add the number of people who have been injured and the number of people who are missing, you have more than 100,000 people, which represents 5% of the population. Philip Lazzarini, the head of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, told the BBC. The UN is also warning of a looming famine in the north of the territory, where an estimated 300,000 people are living with little food or clean water. The Israeli military launched a large-scale air and ground campaign to destroy Hamas, which is prescribed as a terrorist organization by Israel, the UK, and others, after its gunmen killed about 1,200 people in southern Israel on October 7. 253 people back to Gaza as hostages. Thursday's incidents took place shortly after 4:02 GMT, past an Israeli military checkpoint on Rashid Street, which runs along the Mediterranean coast. Palestinian sources gave the location as the Nabulsi roundabout on the southwestern edge of Gaza City. Now, if you've seen like convoys such as this one, aid convoys, in the past, there's always chaos. And that chaos is a consequence of, I strongly disagree, given how the Palestinians are portrayed, so many automatically side with Israel, succumbing to media propaganda. It is not granted that people see this clearly. If what you are saying was correct, the majority of the American population would not be demanding a ceasefire. I think, and with all sincerity, I think there's a lot more Americans that are like, enough is enough. Dial it back. What the hell is going on? Genuinely insane that this is the right-wing Israeli reaction to the Biden administration, giving them literally every single thing they want with no limitations and conditions. I am an Israeli outraged at Biden's betrayal of Israel by forcing a stop the war in Gaza and preventing Israel from winning and eradicating Hamas, and forcing on Israel a terrorist Palestinian state as a reward for the massacres and rapes of Jews to appease anti-Semitic leftist voters.
My name is Shula. I'm an Israeli, and I'm outraged. I'm so disappointed by President Biden.
Dude, this shit is awesome. Like, no, more please. You are a unhinged freak, dude. No, it's great. It's great. This kind of stuff is great. I love seeing just the most mentally ill person I've ever seen in my entire life be so bloodthirsty for more Palestinian children and women to be murdered. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. These people are so despicable. First of all, why are you dressed the way you're dressed? What's going on here, lady? What the f is going on? Okay, never mind.
He betrayed the Israeli people. He wants us to have a ceasefire. And when we are in the beginning of the end of this war, we are winning big. It will be known as one of the best victory open warfare in the history of the world.
Is she in Brickell? Is this Brickell? What's this background? This doesn't look like Israel to me. This looks like Brickell, right? It looks like Miami. Brickell is, it's Florida. It's Miami.
We are winning because there is no other alternative after the atrocity and the massacre of the Jewish people. And Biden wants us to stop the war in order to give victory to Hamas, to credit them with the victory, and then...
She's so insane, brother. Oh my God. Oh my God, every part of this is awesome. She's fake crying, the outfit, the massive Star of David that she like put over her gold necklace. Woo! How are we stuck with the conservative Cubans and the Zionists? I hate that I love Miami. Oh yeah, no, Florida is the actual armpit of the United States of America. It's got the absolute worst of the worst of the worst of the worst, brother. Not even a question. Florida is winning the absolute worst person Olympics every time, dude. Filled to the goddamn brim.
During the ceasefire, that supposedly he cares about releasing hostages, but it's not about the hostages. He wants to lead it. That during that time, he will declare a Palestinian state. He will give a reward.
I'm gonna be honest, dude. Like, her being super ugly and also trying to do fake tears while dressed like an 18-year-old definitely ruins most of the, like, half of the argument that she's trying to present is immediately destroyed by how hysterically ugly she is, okay? How hysterical and how ugly she is both inside and out unironically just destroys half of the marketing here, okay? Sorry. She looks insane.
Give Al-Qaeda state to the enemies of the United States in the Middle East, but it's worse. Have an Al-Qaeda state in Canada and in Hamas. Do you understand?
Hamas! Get the out of here, bro. Hamas! Al-Qaeda and Hamas! Shut the dumbass. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. What is happening, dude? What? Bro, I said this before, but like Israel obviously greatly cares about how their Hasbara is received in the Western world. If I'm Mossad, I'm making sure these guys don't have any phones, okay? I'm making sure these are the first guys I'm going after. You understand? I'm trying to ensure that this person never, ever presents themselves as pro-Israel ever again. Straight up.
It will be the continuation. It will be again and again the 710 of horrors, 9/11 against us. That's what he's doing in order to convince the Muslim in Michigan to vote for Biden for a war. This is what he's talking about, politics.
Bro, she's shaking like she got the vaccine injury.
And he wants the young people, the extreme to the left that worship now.
When that Moderna hits, okay, and my girl starts tweaking. Oh no. Hamas! Hamas! Biden wants to vote for Hamas!
Osama bin Laden on TikTok, that they will be the one, 80% of the American people.
It's so funny because, like, I can't even hear a single goddamn thing that she's saying because it's like, it's so loud in the background. She's also like hysterical, but like whisper yelling, if that makes sense, and gasping for air in between too. It's just every part of this video, 10-10, okay? 10-10, phenomenal new ways of saying Hamas, worst fit of all time. It's just, it's great, dude.
With Israel, and he cares about the 20% and neglecting, deserting the only democracy in the Middle East, the only...
Read about who her dad was. After seeing the horrors of his fellow Jews as suffered in the concentration camps, Shula's father returned back to pre-Israel in July 1946 and joined the Irgun, of course, the Jewish underground under the command of Menachem Begin to force the British out of Palestine and establish an independent Jewish state. He was one of the first fighters to conquer Jaffa. In 1948, he joined the Israeli Defense Forces. Biden is in the beginning was normal and then turned on us, the Jewish state, when we decided to fight because Biden secretly loves Hamas. Oh, Jesus Christ. Back and not to act like victims and decided to use a right to self-defense and destroy evil. Yeah, dude. I mean, this lady, this is what happens when you get a lobotomy.
We said that suffer Holocaust, and we are trying to protect ourselves against evil, and also we can continue to have one Jewish state with Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, with Judeo-Christian values. Dude, there's no way she thinks she's popping off with this, right? Like, why did you post this, dumbass? This is just like 2 minutes of unfiltered, like, baby brain. Oh, first she popped off with the Hebrew too. She made both of them. She made a Hebrew version and also an English version. She said we want one apartheid state. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying, bro. Listen, if I'm in charge of Hasbara, I'm trying to make sure only baddies are talking about Israel, okay? No more Amy Schumer, no more Brett Gelman. I'm trying to find baddies. I'm trying to find baddies to be like, yeah, actually, fucking genocide is so sick. It's the sickest.